Wow, this is a YouTube channel about cross stitch and knitting and a little bit of planning at the end. So I do have some of that for you again today. Yeah, where to start? I have no notes, so I expect this to be long. Hopefully it won't be long-winded. Hopefully I'll show you lots of goodies and inspire you and of course enable you, because that is my job and I take it very seriously. Welcome back, guys. I'm so glad that you are here. I am glad to be back. I think it's been 3 weeks. It's been a while. In that time, I've traveled halfway across the country and back again. I have a hair in my mouth and I can't blame it on the cat. So yeah, lots to show you. Lots to talk about. Yeah, the trip was so much fun. The Silver Needle was, needless to say, amazing. Meeting Jeannette Douglas was just a total thrill. Getting back out on the road and seeing more of this beautiful country, you know how much we always enjoy that. Although I will admit, by the end, we were both, well, all three of us ready to be done. The third one is Nina, and she was like pretty darn tired of this. Into the car, into the trailer, into the car, into the trailer. If I can't sit on your lap, mother, I'm not sitting anywhere. So by the last day, she was just roaming all over the car. We were all ready to be home. But yeah, I took so many videos and pictures. So on the way out, we went kind of a more, not northerly, but more straight across, from Idaho into Wyoming, south of Jackson, over to Fort Collins, Colorado, and then out across eastern Colorado, most of the way across Kansas, and then down south into Oklahoma to Tulsa. On the way back, we did a more southerly route and came out through the Oklahoma Panhandle, so basically drove across most of Oklahoma, into New Mexico, over back into Colorado, and then over into Utah, where we stopped in Moab and spent 2 days. Most of the places we stopped was just for a night, right? Getting on down the road. But in Moab, we did spend 2 nights so we could have a day to explore that area, and we did go into Arches National Park. I have so many videos that I put together, a kind of a travel log, and that is up on my Sunsets and Sangria YouTube channel. I will put a link to that video below for those of you that enjoy seeing. I'm putting some of what we saw at the beginning of this video to give you a little taste, but that barely scratches the surface of all the videos I took. So if you want to see more, I will link that video on our travel channel down below. Stitching wise, haul wise, yeah, I have a lot to show you, a lot to talk about. I have a lot of framed pieces surrounding me, so I have been concentrating and really being intentional about getting all the framing, all the stitching that I did for that year that we were in San Antonio that I didn't get framed, because where was I going to put it? I've been very intentional about getting them fully finished. And today's is all about framed finishes. So I have several of my own designs that I will show you first that I have fully framed, and then several that were, most of which were professionally framed. And then I have several that I did frame myself that were other designers. So we're just going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with my most recent finish. This is the one that I did on the on my other little video, my Flosstube Extra. This is Mom So Much Love. This is the exclusive that I did for Maggie's on Maine, and I'm thrilled by how much people love it. I knew you would. I think it's awesome. I had mentioned in my video, well, I know that it is selling well. So if you are interested in this, don't dilly-dally. Go ahead again, there is, I'll put links below that you can click on to purchase kits. I had mentioned in my Flosstube Extra video that she may be willing to sell charts. She is not yet at this time. She wants to focus on the kits right now. So there are 2 kits available. One is for just the fabric and the floss and the chart. It is a paper chart. And I don't remember the prices now off the top of my head. So let me see if I have it in here. You'd think I would. Oh, there it is. Okay. So the kit that is just the chart, fabric, and floss is $32.50. Then she has a second kit that has all of that plus the fabric to finish this into a pillow. And I will insert a photo here of what the pillow looks like. So you can see the pillow has like the blue fabric mounting it. This finishes on, it is a 28 count Lugana that is in the kit. And so it finishes at about 8.5 by 8. So it is a good size to have a nice little pillow or cushion. Not, you know, it's not a small at this size. The kits include the floss is the over-dyed floss that you can see here. So yeah, like I said, if you are interested, I recommend going ahead and getting on this. The links will be in the description box below. I know there are many of you who have lost your mothers like I have. And several of you, somebody on Instagram and somebody on the Flosstube Extra video, commented that this would make a great memorial piece as well for those of us that have already lost our mothers. And I think that's a brilliant idea. And I really wish I had thought of that when I was stitching it. As many of you know, I lost my mother many years ago, and it would have just been really sweet to be able to put in here, you know, in memory of Kathleen Hildenbrand, my dear mom. So, and there's also many of you I know that did not have good relationships with your mothers, and it's sad to think about, and I know it's hurtful whenever you see this kind of thing, recognizing that it is not the experience you had. My friend Michelle, when she is stitching this, because she did lose her mother, I believe she had said she was going to just stitch the heart and the flowers on the bottom and leave off the sentiment. So, you know, that's a possibility too. If you like the design but don't like the saying, you can always just, you know, stitch the heart and make it into a smaller pillow, that kind of thing. So there's all kinds of options. Exclusive to Maggie's for a year. I am thrilled to have partnered with her. We had a lot of fun putting this together and working out the details. So I hope that, I hope you like it as much as I do. From the responses I've gotten so far, I think you do. Okay, professionally framed pieces. Meditation Garden is finally framed. And I wanted it to have a very natural look with the frame. So I am very pleased with how this came out. I did take it to the professional framers here in Idaho Falls, and they do a really, really good job with needlework. They have had a lot of experience mounting Wendy's pieces, or at least creating frames. I know she does a lot of her own framing. But anyways, this is Meditation Garden, one of my favorite designs. One that I didn't know how it would go over, because, you know, this is different, but I know many of you do like it, so I'm thrilled with that. And to say I'm thrilled with this is an understatement. Sewing box sampler. I did not get glass on Meditation Garden. I did get the museum glass on Sewing Box Sampler. So this is the one that was my first reproduction sampler. This is a Spanish sampler. I do not have a name and a date on it. This has this whole band of Bargello, which I had a ball doing. And I learned more about Bargello in Jeannette Douglas's class, so that was fun. So, Sewing Box Sampler 1 is framed and will go up on a wall. You know, I do want to keep the designs that I've done, my own designs, up here as kind of a nice backdrop for my videos. But on the other hand, I would kind of like to mount this one. I have the original hanging upstairs, and I'd kind of like to mount this one next to it. So I haven't decided on that. Next, I did frame this one myself, Ode to a Peacock. And I'd like it in the nice big frame. This is a more difficult one to frame because, you know, you have this very even border here, and then you have the tail. And so it kind of throws off what you're going to do with the border. So getting a frame that was much bigger allowed me to kind of keep this even all around in spite of that tail, I guess I would say. This is a thrift store frame. I don't know whether the price is still on it, but it probably cost $2. So I am happy to have this beauty framed. This is Ode to a Peacock. This is stitched in Mrs. Sadis silks. It does have a DMC conversion, but of course be aware, as always, that the DMC conversion is not going to look the same as the silks, because the silks, the hand-dyed silks, have the variegation in them. All right. This is the last of my professionally framed pieces of my designs, and then I have a few more that are not my designs that I framed myself. And we are going to talk about this one. All right, let's see how far back I have to get for you to be able to see it all. And yeah, I know there's a glare. This is museum glass as well. Trying. All right, so you're looking at this saying, Jan, I thought you were going to sew these together and frame them. And I was. I took the 4 pieces separately first to the framer to get their opinion on, by the way, this is Seasons in Lace, winter, spring, summer, and fall, just in case you didn't know. But I took the 3 pieces, or the 4 pieces separately to the framer to get their opinion on what they thought of me sewing it together and then framing it. And I know there's a lot of other designers that have done that sort of thing. Some of them with the stitches together that, you know, you want to sew so that the stitches on either side of the seam match up. And that's fine. Most of those pieces are fairly small. With this, because they are going to be, they would have been such long seams, we felt that, number one, the fabric would show, the seam allowance underneath, right, would show through, or at least you'd see the bulk of it, especially in the center where the 4 met up, and I'm afraid we would have had a hole as they were trying to stretch it for mounting. But also, well, the bulk of the fabric was the other issue underneath. So we talked about all kinds of different possibilities for this. Looked at all kinds of different matting and frames and came up with this. I felt that they had to at least have an inch of the mat board in between the pieces to allow for how they mounted it. So I couldn't get the mat board in the middle any skinnier. So I tried to pick out a mat that was as unobtrusive as possible, and it also matches the frame fairly well. So I think overall, it is not what I wanted. I am happy with how they did it, with the workmanship. It's not how I hoped it would turn out, but you know, at this point it is what it is. And I think you can still get the sense of the 4 seasons together. So yeah, my advice to you, I know many of you have started this already. I know there's at least one of you that has said that you're going to mount them as 4 separate ones, and that is something I considered as well. But I really wanted all 4 of them together. So this is what I ended up with. So I would say, if at all possible, stitch them all together on 1 piece of fabric so that they do meet. Separate. If I were to do this again, which I won't, I would be separating by 2 linen threads, 1 square if you're on Aida, just, you know, that little bit of separation so that they really are close together if you're doing it on 1 piece of fabric. If you're doing it on 4 separate pieces of fabric, you may want to consider mounting all 4 of them separately. Otherwise, this is your option, I believe. You can try sewing them together, but I do think those long seams, I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, it is what it is. All right, hold on. All right, I had to stretch over and get the other pieces. So these ones I all mounted. I mounted all by myself, which it probably shows. So this is the Feels Like Home stitch along, mystery stitch along that I did with Fat Quarter Shop last year. I don't think I did change the colors. I just used the linen instead of the whatever Ada it is that they had in their kit. This is mounted in a barnwood frame. It is actually called, the company is called Barnwood. I've gotten several of their frames from Amazon and I do really like them. I like the look. And I think this is really perfect for this little guy. So that is that one. That is stitched with the over-dyed flosses, and the fabric is probably 36 count white linen. Probably Zweigert. This is Stitches Through the Years Winter Quaker. And the other two, that one, the blue frame I got from Amazon. These other two are thrift store frames. And I'll put the link down below for the Amazon frame. They have all different colors, and like I said, I've used them several times and really like them. So Stitches Through the Years Winter Quaker, using the over-dyed floss. The fabric is one of Vicki Clayton's fabrics, I think 36 count. So I'm quite pleased with that one. And then last but not least, this is Jane Marshall by Hands Across the Sea. Again, a thrift store frame. This one still has the price. It is $3. This is one of the ones that I had taken to Michael's to have framed and was not happy at all. And there are a couple little holes. They had actually stapled the fabric to their mounting board, and so I did end up with a couple of holes, but I don't think you can really see them. So this is stitched with, I converted to Mrs. Seda silks, and the fabric, I don't remember. I believe it's a 40 count. It might be a Lakeside linen, but I do not remember. So very happy with that one as well. So slowly but surely, I still have more. I still have Shades of Gold and Hoity Toity that I will be taking next to get framed. Still have the Sewing Box Sampler 2 to get framed, so there's still more framing to be done to catch up, let alone with everything else that's going on. Speaking of which, I wanted to mention, I think when I filmed last, I didn't have the information on the silk pack for What Is Home. That's what I'm pointing back here at. So that is now available on Fat Quarter Shop. I will link that below. Hopefully I'll remember. Yeah, I think that's the main other thing I wanted to mention. So I'm going to take a break, step away from the camera. It will just be a split second for you, and move all the framed pieces out of the way and bring all of my stitching over. I don't think I had any other finishes, did I? I don't think so. I'll bring all my stitching over. Hold on one second. Okay, so stitching. Stitching WIPs, stitching in progress, because it's not like I haven't been showing you stitching, right? I've been showing you stitching. Now we're going to see what I've been working on for the past 3 weeks. Okay. Still have most of them in bags, so I usually take them out of the bags to show you, but we'll work on that a thing at a time. Is that making any sense? I don't know. Brain is going all over the place. So I did spend a little more time working on Balmy Spring Day. This is Heaven and Earth's Balmy Spring Day. And I basically just worked more on the black to get that down some more. I might be at 3%, 4% now. Yep, filled in a few other areas, just little stitches here and there, but for the most part, I just continue to work on that black. I don't know. I don't know. May 1st, as you know, is when Carolyn and I will be starting the Funky Flowers Stitch Along. I know many of you have mentioned that you're going to join us. So I don't know when Balmy Spring Day is going to get more attention, but I'm happy with what I got done. You know, it's going to be a long-term project. All right. What do we have in this magic bag? Oh, this magic bag is Black Sheep Sampler by Wendy from the Heart Needle Arts. And this is, it's a stunner. I had been planning on, I took this with me on the trip and I had been planning on working on it, but then I changed my mind and I'll tell you why in a second. But for now, this is one that I did convert to Vicki Clayton's silks. I know several of you have asked me for the conversion. It's kind of hard to do that with some of these because I have colors from, how to explain this? When I first joined her Variegated Floss Club, she was dyeing her old colors. So she had a whole series called Rubbed and Made of the, and all kinds of different series. And so I have a lot of those. And then she started dyeing the things to substitute when you want to substitute the over-dyed flosses that are currently on the market with her silks. What that means is she doesn't keep in her shop like the old things. She's not dyeing them anymore unless you put a request on the mini forum and she has enough people that want them to dye a whole skein, basically. And so if I tell you the conversion that has those older colors in it, you probably wouldn't be able to get them. And I hesitate to do that because I don't want to cause that kind of frustration. So, having said that, Black Sheep Sampler from the Heart Needle Arts. I'm loving it. This is, I believe this is gray, Weeks Dye Works gray fabric, formerly Confederate gray. And I think the colors that I've chosen on this fabric are just scrumptious. I am using that word a lot recently because I'm so pleased. So this, though, like I said, I had planned on getting more of this done on the trip, and then I changed my mind. I felt I had a different priority, but this will come out to play again soon because it's not, I've mentioned before, it is not a big sampler, and I think I can get it done, you know, relatively quickly as these things go. So that is that one. Maria Cerrone, I've not worked on this, of course, since we left. Maria Cerrone is, let me find, is hiding in here. Shoot. It is a 5-part designed by Lindsay Lane Designs. I am working on, this is actually part 5, I think. I think they started in the center. So this is a band sampler that is on the left-hand side. I have to look at my hands. The left-hand side of the sampler. Like I said, there are 5 parts. Lindsay Lane, Maria Cerrone is the name of it. This is another band sampler that's on the other side, the right-hand side, and then you have these 3 pieces that are in the center. You, of course, could do these separately or all together. So you have her horn book, her mini sampler, her sewing box, and then her band sampler and floral band sampler, all called Maria Cerrone 1830, and then all those different names. Last time I was at the attic back in February, they did still have these in stock, if you're interested. So like I said, I haven't worked on this since before we left on the trip. And actually for a little bit before that, because I was concentrating on getting the Mother's Day design done, the exclusive done. But, oops. This is so pretty. I have also converted this to Vicky's Silks. And it is charted in the over-dyed flosses. So many of these are her conversions to the over-dyed flosses. There were a couple of the colors that she hasn't dyed yet. And so I just tried to find something that was close. And it's just stunning. I'm stitching this on 46 count Vintage Buttercream by Lakeside Linens. And everything about this makes my heart go pitter-pat, and dare I say, it's scrumptious. Precious. Yeah. Lord of the Rings fans understand that reference. Okay, so I don't know when that's going to come back out to play either, but I don't want it to disappear and be put away in my pile of WIPs not to be seen again for a couple years. So hopefully in the not too distant future. I had been working on Heartfelt Stitch Along. I took that one with me and did work on that. Again, priority was that. Get this out of the way. For those of you that have been following along with the Heartfelt Stitch Along, you will know that every month Fat Quarter Shop is featuring one of those of us who are kind of like the, I don't know what to call us, hostesses, leaders of the pack. I don't know what to call us for this stitch along. So every month they feature us on their blog showing like a project that we've done that has meant a lot to us, and then showing our progress on the Heartfelt Stitch Along, the Heartfelt design. So my month is May, the beginning of May. The first Friday in May is when release 4 comes out, and they wanted to have a finished photo of my release 4. So I finished that on the trip and got those photos done. So you can see that on the Jolly Jabber blog, Friday, May, whatever the first Friday in May is. I'm not going to show you what I've done because we're not allowed to show it until the release comes out. But I did spend some time on the trip working on that. I also decided that the trip would be a good chance for me to get some stitches in on Narnia. Now, for those that have been with me for a while and have kind of followed along my design career, my designing, know that Narnia is one of my first designs after I stopped doing the full coverage designs. I did full coverage of my photos for a while. Narnia also is the one that got rained on when we were in the trailer in the RV in San Antonio, and so I had to restart it. The fabric, the floss ran on the fabric. It was basically sitting in some kind of wet situation for at least a day, if not more, before I found it. So I restarted. This is milk and sugar and cream. One of those type of combinations from Fibers on a Whim fabric. This is a 36 count, and I am using, again, Mrs. Seda Silks in Oxide and Midnight. So yeah, I got this middle square done and got most of this square done. I had really hoped to get this square done before we got home, but that didn't happen. So I plan on plugging away here and there as much as possible on this, because Narnia is the only one of my designs that I haven't myself stitched the model for. I did have one of my stitchers, Brenda Eller, did stitch it for me, and I do have those photos, but I don't have one in the floss that I called for. She did it in the DMC conversion, I believe. So yeah, hopefully I will get that fully stitched and finished this year so I can show you. Oh, there it is. I also have another project, an earlier design that I had started. I don't have it here to show you because I don't feel like I need to, it's not ready for me to show you yet. And I've started a new design, stitching the model of a new design, and I'm not going to show you that yet. So there's other stitching going on that I cannot show you just yet. But this I hope to have finished by the end of the week. This is the Ukrainian sunflower design, designed by Stitch Sprout. And I you know, blue and gold always work together, and I love my fabric choice. This is, it's either mocha or, can you hear Sharky, our little vacuum robot upstairs? He's very hard at work while I'm doing my videos. This is Weeks Dye Works, either cocoa or mocha. I believe it's cocoa. And I love these colors on this fabric. So yeah, I'll get this done by the weekend, and we'll get it made into a little pillow, some kind of little finish. So that is that one. I am using the called for DMC, and I believe this is a 40 count fabric. And then last but not least, well, actually not last but not least. So yeah, spending those days with Jeannette Douglas in the class at the Silver Needle was amazing. And I decided that the rest of April was going to be Jeannette Douglas month. So yeah, I know it wasn't quite a full month, but I had been working on this, as you know. This is Seasons by the Sea, and seeing the finished piece at Silver Needle was so inspiring. So Seasons by the Sea, winter. I had gotten a little more progress done. Needless to say, I didn't make it to spring by the beginning of spring. Such is life in my world. So this is about, maybe about a third done. I am ready to start putting in the words. Hold please, let me get out the picture. So I am ready to start putting in the words here, Winter by the Sea. And then I'll move up and get the cross stitch done that's going up here, and then I'll start working on the center motif, and then I'll move over to spring here. So yeah, I'm pleased with it though, slowly but surely. And this one I will continue to work on. You know, it gets a half hour here, an hour there. I'll continue to pull it out and work on it as I can. It's not going to get put away. So yeah, Jeannette Douglas, Seasons by the Sea, I had been working on. And then of course there was the class. And, so yeah, on the trip home, I did not work on this at all because again, other priorities were pulling me. But for the rest of what's left in April, I'll be working on the rest of this week, the design from the class, and then the rest of next week, putting in my evening stitching. And that's what I'm referring to. My evening stitching is, will be on Seasons by the Sea. So the project from the class, this is called Tapestry of Stitches. And it's just so pretty. It is charted in different silks, mostly Gloriana, some Belsois by Classic Colorworks. And so our class time was spent learning about how to do this white work here in the middle, and then learning about the Bargello stitches at the bottom. And also learning more about Jeannette and hearing her wonderful stories and learning more about her other designs and asking questions. And oh my goodness, it was amazing. So, oh yeah, and the strawberries down here. the strawberries in this little tree are queen stitch. So we also spent some time going over that. So this is what I have done so far. I worked in class on, so here's my beginning of my band of white work stitches going across there. As you can see, this is the far right side of the sampler, and so it's not huge, but I decided to stop there with the white stitches until I get the border down over here to make sure kind of everything's lining up. This week I've been working on, I've got this border and the leaves done, and I've been working on these little motifs over here. In class, you can just barely see it. I got the border down to the bottom, and then just in there is where we did our little strawberries. We started our little strawberries in queen stitch. We didn't really start the Bargello. We just talked about all the different patterns and what they mean, how they're executed, kind of what the original name was for them and why, and how one thing about Bargello is how the choice of color and the placement of color totally changes the look. These are all different patterns, so it's not necessarily a play on that, but just we talked a lot about how the placement of different colors highlights different parts of the design. And that's true in quilting. For those of you that are quilters, you know what that means. So yeah, this is, I'm going to spend the rest of the week probably till Saturday or till Sunday, and then I'll pull that one out. Getting as much done on this as I can. Again, I don't want to put it away. I want to get it done. There's only so many hours in the day. I want to work on everything. The class was amazing. I sat with Mary Lou Jarvis and Edie Schneeberger. And ladies, I hope you don't mind me using your names here. They very kindly let me sit at the table with them, and they were a delight. They both are from Oklahoma City. Edie has been watching me for a while, so it was just amazing to get to know her a little bit. Hi, Edie. Hi, Mary Lou. Thank you so much again. I had so much fun. We went to lunch together and chatted, and there's a cat scratching at the door because I have the door closed. All right, so yeah, it was wonderful to get to know them. Of course, there was a ton of other ladies in the room that I didn't get to know as well, but it was just wonderful to be in a group like that again. And of course, the silver needle itself is, I mean, mind-boggling. It's just mind-boggling. The number of models. Are you just going to show them your butt, or you're going to turn around and say hi? Should we say hi? She says, no more road trips. Actually, we'll be leaving on another road trip. We're going down to visit Mike's father in a couple of weeks here. The number of models in that store is mind-boggling. Just the size of the store itself is mind-boggling. The operation that Lindy has and how she has it all pulled together is mind-boggling. The employees there are just wonderful. Yeah, just everything about it. I did take a lot of videos there as well, and I will be putting together a video on the silver needle. Hopefully by the end of the week I'll have that up. So yeah, it was a wonderful trip. All right, stitching, I think that's all the stitching that I have to show you, but I do have knitting. So on these drives, I knit. The needles are bigger, the stitches are bigger, and I continued to work on my a flutter poncho. When I came home, I finally put it on bigger needles so you can actually get a better sense of what we're dealing with here. So this is it. I am, you know, I can say I'm almost done in that I'm on the third section. There's 10 sections in each. I'm on the third part. There's 10 sections in each part, and I am on the 5th section of the third part. Having said that, though, I am up to 732 stitches on the needle. It takes me, so I knit continental, so I'm a fairly fast knitter, both purling and knitting, but of course definitely knitting is faster. And it still takes me an hour to get around just plain knitting on that many stitches. Each section adds at least 8 more stitches, plus there's some other increases that happen on our corners to kind of give room to go around the corner. We're constantly increasing these sections that you're seeing here are called short rows. And what happens is you knit over to a section, and then you go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth in that little section. And then you continue around to the next section and go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth in that section. And then you continue around to the next section. And so in that way you're working around, but you're working a lot of stitches just in these little like puddles of color. But on the corners, which is what's happening here, you also have increases. That's actually the beginning of the round. And so you definitely have at least 8 stitches increased each round, but you also have some other increases that are going on some of the rounds. I expect in the not too distant future, I'm going to be up to 800 stitches on the needles. So when I say I am close to being done, that is relative to how long it takes me to get around these rows. But that I will keep plugging away at. I am very tempted to start a new sweater. Laura Nelkin is starting a knit along for a new little tee that she designed that I'm so tempted to do, but I'm also determined not to start anything until I get this finished. Knitting on the road gives me hours and hours and hours to knit, and that helps me make a lot of progress because I don't take a lot of time when I'm here at home to knit. I will not get as much progress on our trip. We will be driving over to Cincinnati for StitchCon. I hope to have this done by then. Excuse me. But I'm going to be taking on some of the driving responsibilities on our next trip because Mike did not get as much work done as he had hoped on the trip to Tulsa and back. He was working in the mornings and in the evenings and doing pretty much all of the driving. He doesn't do well. He gets some motion sickness, so he doesn't do well just sitting as a passenger, so he's prefer to drive. But we decided to give Dramamine a try, and we did that on the last part of the trip home. So once we crossed over the Utah-Idaho state line, stopped at the first rest stop over the state line, and then I got behind the wheel. I have not driven with the trailer. I had not driven with the trailer before, so I needed to get used to that extra length. So I drove from the state line up to Idaho Falls, which was about 2 hours, not a lot of traffic. And Mike worked. Having taken Dramamine, Mike was able to work that time. So, and he did fine. So on the trip over to Cincinnati, we're going to be doing more on and off so that he can get some work hours in during the day because, like I said, he didn't get as much done as he had hoped. Okay, so I think that is all of my WIPs. I am now going to sort those, put those aside, and bring out my haul. So stay tuned. Okay, one thing I actually forgot to show you was my continuation of stitching my tiny little swatches for the Funky Flowers Sal. So this is what I had I finished the one pack of silks, and I started working with the roses and pinks that I had gotten. Those are the ones I've stitched so far. Of course, I didn't take this with me on the trip because the lighting wouldn't have been good enough. But yeah, I continue. I don't know whether I'll get this done, all the different colors swatched by the time May 1st rolls around, which is when the stitch along starts, but I'll get some more in. Okay. These are not in any particular order, really, except that the silver needle stuff is going to be in the second batch. This is kind of other stuff I've gotten. Okay. Starting with my Fabric of the Month Club from Treehouse Fabrics and Legacy Fiber Arts. So it's Legacy Fiber Arts linen. Treehouse Fabrics is the one that sells it on the store. It's rather confusing. But anyways, this is the April Linen Club from Legacy Fiber Arts Linens, and it is called Schooner. It is 40 count, and it is a very pretty, buttery, creamy with yellow modeling. And the Schooner, the interesting thing they do is they provide a kind of a history of whatever they named the fabric. So Schooners in New England, why they chose that name and the color to represent. Included a skein of Classic Colorworks Wavy Navy, which is one of my favorite colors. So that's always fun, kind of keeping with the maritime theme. So that is a fat quarter from Legacy Fiber Arts Linens and Treehouse Fabrics. Treehouse Fiber Arts, I don't know. Let's see what it says on here. It doesn't. Treehouse Fiber Arts. I'll put a link below. I don't know if they still have openings in their club. I like it because it's just a quarterly club. So, I get a taste of it, but I don't get so much that, I get so many other pieces of fabric from other places, which you will soon see. All right. Continuing the Oh So Adorable Year in the Woods series, I am on auto ship from Acorns and Threads. So I received the ferret. It's just, and did you see the latest one, the bear laying on his back? Oh my God. I am so glad that I joined this club. These are adorable patterns. Had an order from, just stuff laying around. Had an order from Hobby House Needleworks in New York come in. I love ordering fabric from them, not only because they seem to have a good stock, they also are, they've started their own dye company, so that's kind of fun, but they also serge it so nicely. It comes in these nice paper bags. I actually cut the label off the bag and staple it onto the linen so that I can then hang it in my linen, on my linen hangers. So this is Tabby Cat fabric. This is called Cat Whiskers. This is a 46 count, and it is a fat 1/8, and it's just a very soft gray. Just a little bit of modeling. Just really, really soft. So that is gorgeous. And a lot of times I do have a lot of fabric. I admit, I have a lot of fabric. So a lot of times when I'm buying fabric now, it's to get it from people that I don't have a lot of their fabric, that might be new to the industry, just to have it, or to buy a piece of fabric that I've seen somebody else use that I thought was gorgeous. And this is one of those. This is Seraphim's Old Stationary Linen. This is 40 count, and this, again, dare I say it, this is scrumptious. I love this. Very gentle modeling, a gorgeous Grayy, browny, tanny, and it's just gorgeous. Old Stationery Linen by Seraphim. Scrumptious. The word of the day is scrumptious. And last but not least, this is again 40 count. This is called Stony Brook Linen, and it is by the Hobby House Dye Company. So this is one of theirs that they're starting to dye. And this is a just really pretty blue-gray. It's looking a little yellow on my screen, and it's definitely not. It's very much a cool, not a warm gray. Is it coming off across to you as gray at all? I hope so. That might be better. Anyways, gorgeous. Even scrumptious. The other thing I got from Hobby House is this booklet. This has been out there a lot on different social media venues, and I had to have it. So this is called GH 1857, and it is by Simone de Jong van Vissen, Soed Idee, Atelier, Soed Idee. And I've totally butchered that, so I will shut up now. This has the sampler. It has a needle book. It has a scissor fob. It has an oval pin cushion, and it has the drum here. All these patterns taken from the main reproduction sampler. And I had to have it because of the colors, the browns, the golds, the blues, just beautiful. This is charted, I believe, in over-dyed flosses. This would be beautiful on that old stationery linen. Oh my God, it's gorgeous, just gorgeous. All right, I did get a this is like thrown in there, just random. I had signed up for a monthly mystery sticker subscription from a company called Sadie Stickers. And I believe, let's see, I had March, April, and May, so I think I have one more coming. So this is just the stickers. I am not using these as much, this style of sticker as much, because I'm using Happy Planners stickers so much. I kind of find they fit my my aesthetic better. So we'll see. I mean, these show up every once in a while. Anyways, get them back in their nice little glassine envelope. Next, the French needlework. The French needleworker. I'm butchering names. This is what happens when I don't have notes, but I will link it below. The French Needleworker is an email that I get. They have an online store. She gets a lot, most of what I think she lives part-time in the Bordeaux region of France, and then part-time in the greater Washington, D.C. area of the U.S. And so she brings in a lot of French patterns, books, all kinds of different things, embroidery things. And she got this one in by Veronique Agenget. And I love her botanical patterns. And so just jumped all over this. So this is the citrus one, as you can see. And it is a kit in that it has the fabric and the little charm. You can see the little dragonfly charm in there. So yeah, this, I don't know what I'm trying to say about it, but I love it. And I love her style. And anytime I have a chance to get, especially her botanical ones, I kind of jump on it. I got a couple things from, I am having trouble all of a sudden. I got a couple things from 1884 Stitchery. Prairie Schooler, this is the spring. Spring has come. This is the real paper chart. As you know, 1884 Stitchery gets inventory from stores that are going out of business, and also from people who may have passed away. She gets their stash basically and resells it online. And so that's what this is. So Prairie Schooler, spring has come. And Sheepish Designs, You Alone for my sheep wall. And then Dear Wendy here in Idaho Falls. Seems like every time I go visit her, she has a little baggie for me of her patterns, some of which you will get. All right, so this time, she is so prolific. July's Quaker month. And I believe she just started to ship these to the stores last week. So you should start seeing them in your favorite LNS or online retailer. Token of Love. This is not a reproduction. This is an original sampler of hers. Meant to be an anniversary sampler, I believe. And then this is a reproduction. Xavier Hern. Doesn't sound like a Spanish name to me. So, but this is a reproduction. And then she did a band sampler called the Green Pear Band Sampler, inspired by the reproduction. So everything you see in here is also in here, just modified to make it more of a band sampler. And I love the way she's expanded these bands. You can see them on the bottom of the reproduction to create the bands. I think that's so pretty. So I am going to be keeping a couple of these. I'm keeping the July and the Green Pear Band Sampler, and then I'll be giving away A Token of Love and Xavier Hern. So stay tuned for that. I have a couple more giveaways that I will be talking about too, as well as announcing the winners from the one that seems so long ago, even though it's only been 3 weeks, I think. I don't know. All right. I know. I'm not petting you at all, am I? Mommy's so mean. All right. The next bit of haul. Let me pull it out here. So these are the goodies that I got at Silver Needle. Nina's watching my hand go back and forth as I pull all this stuff out. She's like, that hand should be petting me. Oh, and I think there's some other things that are not Silver Needle. Yes. Stashed away back here. I don't remember if I showed you these. So I'll start with these. I know I showed you the strawberry. This is the Under the Woolen Willows. I got into their Spring Strawberry Club, her Spring Strawberry Club. And then I also snagged the sunflower counting pins that Lady Duck Creates put together. She's had three, I missed the third one. She had 2 sets of the pins. She had a floss ring with a fob on it, again sunflower themed, to raise money for Lady Dot Creates has done 3 fundraisers so far for Ukraine, and these counting pins are one of them. I think I saw on Instagram that she's working on another one, so I'm anxious to see what that one is too. So this is the March strawberry, and this is the April strawberry from Under the Woolen Willows, the Spring Berry Club. This is called Chickberry, and this was called Lucky Berry. So those are very cute. And then the other haul that I got my next set of NPI silks from Fat Quarter Shop. This is, let's see, leaf green. It says it right there, right? So that's a gorgeous set to add to my collection. And then, I don't know, Did I show you these jackalope, the other Into the Woods ones that I got, jackalope and the raccoon? I don't know if I had those by the time when I did my last video. Okay, so now the silver needle. Like I said, I will be putting together a video of all the different shots that I took and clips that I took at the silver needle. I do not think I even got around to recording all of it. Just so much there. You could spend like a week in every corner of that shop just in order to take in everything that was in every corner of that shop. It was just amazing. And of course they did have a bunch of Jeannette's models. It was a cornucopia of Jeannette Douglas. It really was. It was beautiful. So let me start there with what other designs of hers that I got. Some of them are new. Some of them are not brand new, but not old either. Okay. So, wait, getting things all out of order here. Okay. Joy Be Thine. I believe this came out at the Needlework Expo in the fall. Again, it has a wonderful white work border, some Bargello, just a stunning stitching cornucopia. Her seasonal pillows, I have Cozy into Winter done. I have the spring one in my possession, but I didn't have these two. Soar into Autumn Soar into Summer, Fall into Autumn. So those are fun. And then her latest Vintage Flowers, one of her latest. Just gorgeous. And of course, seeing it in person, seeing the model there, just, you know how that is. It's just stunning. All right, so those are the additional ones of hers that I got. I got Leela Studios Spring Quaker, which was one of the ones I wanted from Market. This is an older one by Chessie and Me that there were several models of this around the store. It's called Floral Basket Tray with Fob. There were several of these around the store, and every time I saw it, it caught my eye, and it caught my eye, and it caught my eye until I finally said, okay, fine, it's mine. All right, so there's that. Mill Hill. I would say the Silver Needle has almost every Mill Hill kit done up into a model. And they do not have it done on the perforated paper. They have them done on fabric. And I think they're 28 count pieces. So the finished design is like this, and they're finished into pillows. And so they have them hanging like on the rack in front of whatever design it is. Sold me like that. So they have many different series. Mill Hill does. It was hard to choose, but what I got is part of the winter series. Actually, that one says autumn series on it. Okay, it says winter to me. So this is called Chickadees. This one is Nuthatch. This one is Holiday Memories. And this one is called Christmas Welcome. And the reason I got these is because I have a garland that I drape around my railing upstairs at Christmas time, and it has lights on it. And what I want to do is finish these into the pillows so I can hang them along the garland, and I think that will be really pretty. And another one that caught my eye that I just had to get, it is, again, part of the winter series, is Fa La La Llamas. They're just so cute. So, I also got these cards, this card assortment. Kelly Ray Roberts, very reminiscent of the Teresa Kogut angel cards, and it just struck me I didn't bring my angel card over for today. We'll substitute one of these. So they have, at the Silver Needle, they have a rack by the checkout where they have these cards. And every time I walked past it, I thought I have to spend some time looking at those a little more closely because some of those are going to come home with me. And then I was in a section of the store and I saw this packet. It is 20 of the cards. And you can kind of get a feel, see on the back. It has, her artwork is very much reminiscent of the multimedia, kind of grungy multimedia art journaling look that I really, really love. And the sentiments on these are just amazing. So I'm just going to pull out one for now. I'll pull out another at angel card time. So this one says, deepest gratitude. And inside it says, you made my heart happy. And these are just all. So I had to get that. And like I said, I will pull one of those out, another one out at angel card time. I have tried several times to get Dovo scissors, and never was fast enough because they sold out the different places I've tried to get them. The Silver Needle still had a number left, so I played with a bunch of them, and a pair of them came home with me. Now, they did not have any of the nice leather sheaths for them, but 1884 Stitchery did. So I got a leather sheath from there for my new Dovo scissors, and I love them. I love them because look at the point on those. I love that sharp point, and they have a wonderful feel. So I have these now upstairs on my upstairs working area. I have my Kohanas here in my downstairs working area. I have my new swan scissors that are in pretty much all of the pictures I take. So all of the scissors have different roles. At the Silver Needle, I also got some Barb's Blend. This is a 36 count. They didn't have any 40. I knew when I heard about Barb's Blend that I wanted to have a piece of my own. So luckily the Silver Needle did have some. This is R&R Reproductions. Fabric color honoring Barb Adams of Blackbird Designs. So thrilled with that. We also got a goodie bag for the class. Little mesh vinyl bag, which is where my little swan scissors were living. But Lindy gifted us all with a pair of Ginger scissors. You can see these are still in their box. I love my Gingers. My Gingers from years ago, I still have and enjoy all the time. A scissor fob from Sampling of Memories with Jeanette's design from the class on it. And then a pen, and I have to show you a couple other pens. I actually, two of these came home with me. So Lindy actually walked into the room, I think on the second day with these because they hadn't come in time to be included in our little goodie bag. So do you remember those little round maze things that we had, at least when I was a kid, back in my era, that, you know, had a little silver ball and you tilt it to make the ball go in the maze and to get into holes? That's what's in here. Little silver balls. I think they're down here. They're going to roll around. And so this is the inside of the pen is a maze. And so, you know, kind of sit here and try and get the ball up and down the pen. So that's just so clever. So I ended up with a couple of those. All right. Hi, baby. Is that everything? I think that's everything from the silver needle. Now, one of the other trips that we took, I think the weekend after my last video, was up to Bozeman with some friends of ours. Had a wonderful time. What an awesome little town Bozeman is. The trip up and back from there was gorgeous. I totally forgot about those videos. So much to see. I may put some at the beginning of the video here. I don't know. Anyways, had a wonderful time in Bozeman. There we did hikes with our friends, sat around and talked and laughed and ate and, you know, all the stuff that you do. There was a yarn store. And I got some yarn. And Nina's like, what are you doing? So I got some yarn from a local dyer. This is Western Sky Knits. Western Sky Knits is known all over the country, but they are hand dyed in Montana. And they did have a sweater there that inspired my choices. It is a fade sweater. And so this is a fade colorway that I got. Basically, just yarns that have all the same colors, lighter to darker. So that will get made into a sweater at some point. All right, the other things that I have to show you are planner related, as far as new stuff I got. So first, I will say at some point spring will arrive here. I'm sure of it. Actually, I do have some daffodils blooming out front, and I do have tulips up. The irises are coming back nicely. My hollyhocks are coming back nicely. And right outside this window here, I have peonies, 2 clumps of peonies that are up like that far. So excited. Cannot wait to see everything bloom. I decided, because this zone is totally new to me, as far as you know, gardening in this zone. I don't know when to plant anything. I don't know, you know, Wendy's helping me as much as she can, but it's basically a crapshoot. How much of the country got snow in April? Raise your hand if you got snow in April. Crazy, crazy. You people over in the Northeast, the snow you got, what, yesterday, the day before? Insane. It ought to be illegal. So anyways, I decided I need to keep track. I went to Lowe's and bought pansies. Let's see, yesterday, the day before, Monday, somewhere in the past couple days, I went to Lowe's and bought pansies and snapdragons and some Rieger begonias, some candy tuft. I think that's all. The pansies I'm going to get out in the ground this weekend. The other ones I'm going to wait. Wendy says, and somebody else, one of you other followers that live here in Idaho Falls, said really Memorial Day, Mother's Day. Wendy says Mother's Day. This other woman said Memorial Day. So not until later in May do people usually start their gardens here. And I'm like, that's summer. So yeah, I need to learn about gardening in this zone. And I decided I needed a journal to help me keep track of it. So this is a new journal from Happy Planner. And it is meant to be a gardening journal. So it has a map here of the different zones in the country. And then each month it has like the whole month just with squares that you can note things in. And then it has a place for like different things you've planted, what's going on with them, your care list, your to-do list. On the next pages, it has weekly pages, and then like watering schedule, and you know, did you water, did you fertilize? Who fertilizes every day? No. Did I turn my soil every day? Weeding is something I hope to get done every day. Once gardening starts, I'll be outside more than sitting inside stitching. You won't see as much stuff get done. But anyways, we have our first appointment with a landscaper next Thursday, I think, to start figuring out what we're going to do with the backyard and getting quotes on the work and, you know, all that kind of thing. So Nina is slowly pushing me off the chair. She heard her name. So anyways, I got that to help me with figuring out gardening in this zone. The other thing I got is this wildflowers box. Happy Planner does do these, I don't know, mystery boxes periodically, once a quarter. I don't know how often. The word wildflower got me, and so I went ahead and got this. So for those of you that may not be aware, these discs on the Happy Planner journals, you can take your paper off and change out the discs. So the box contained these green discs, which I might replace out of the black ones in this journal. And then it just has a bunch of wildflower themed stuff. It has actually another little, just a journal. And I'm going to make this, I think, my my project, my design project journal. Right now I've been keeping track, so like more of my business journal. Right now I've been keeping track of this in just my regular day-to-day journal, and things are getting lost. I'm not keeping track of things as well. My business notes I have to search for. There's a couple little bookmark things. Again, see how there's these little holes you can snap onto your planner. So there's a couple of those. There's some clear stickers. Again, all flower related, which, as you can imagine, makes my heart go pitter-pat. And Nina is eating the tissue paper. And then some extra pages to put in your journal, as well as a book of stickers. So that was kind of fun, and definitely stuff I can use for my new gardening journal. All right, so I'm going to do the giveaways, and then I'll go into my weekly planner thing. So giveaways. Last video, I had the project bag, and you were to answer what was your favorite thing about your kitchen. So this is a project bag from Creative Country Girl, Tammy Blaylock. She is on Instagram. She posts like when she's going to be updating her shop on Instagram. Her Instagram name is Creative Country Girl TB for Tammy Blaylock, and I will try to remember to put that down below again. So you had to answer for this, what was your favorite thing about your kitchen? And the winner for this of the bag is Kim Sherwood, and she says, I love seeing all the baby animals in spring. My favorite thing in my kitchen is my big wide bench, great for cooking and cutting out my sewing. So Kim, congratulations, you won the bag. Next we have the spring at Bean Family Farm. So you needed to answer this. What is your favorite thing about spring? And of course, most of you said the spring flowers, and I totally agree. The winner of this is Julie in Stitches, and she says, I do grow sunflowers. I plant them in the spring. I saw what you did there. I love them. I love all the support I'm seeing for Ukraine. Thank you for highlighting some of the designers. You are very welcome, Julie. And then I have two of Wendy's spring gardens. Your question for this was, do you grow sunflowers? Sharon S. is one of the winners, and she says, my favorite thing about spring is flowers. My favorite thing about my kitchen would have to be my dishwasher. And yes, I do grow sunflowers. Love them. I truly hope you end up with some beautiful flowers at your new place. Would be such a wonderful surprise. I can't wait. I can't wait. And the other winner is Carla Haskell. Carla says, my favorite thing about my kitchen is looking out on the backyard and watching the birds flit through all the flowers and trees. I love that. And my favorite thing about spring is all the daffodils and hyacinth in bloom and the beautiful bird song. So, your home sampler is beautiful. Can't wait to stitch. We grow some sunflowers every year, and in the fall, we put the flower heads out for the birds and squirrels. This year, we're going to grow many more sunflowers than usual. There were sunflowers in the garden, along the backside of the garden here when we came to see the house, and I think some of the flower heads were laying in the garden when we moved in. So it's going to be interesting to see how many of the seeds sowed themselves and how many sunflowers we get this year from those. Okay, so the giveaways for this week, as I mentioned, Xavier Hearn. And your question for this week is, do you know Spanish? Next is Token of Love. And if you are interested, oh wait, back up 1 second. The winners of the last giveaways, email me at jan@madforyarn.com and let me know that you won, and I will get these. Give me your mailing address and I'll get these in the mail. My email is always down in the description box, so you can find it there. Okay, this one. Do you know Spanish? Token of Love, an original anniversary sampler. My mind is drawing a blank for this one. A cute question. Did you see the peacock on the roof? Isn't that adorable? It's so cute. So Wendy says on this, it's an anniversary sampler. So with the included alphabet and numbers, you can easily personalize it however you would like. It could be used to honor a special set of grandparents with their wedding date, or it could be stitched for a special grandmother. The small hearts could be replaced with initials of children. So where's the small hearts? Oh, that's here in the middle. So my question for you, if you stitch this, how would you personalize it? Would you change anything, or would you leave it as is? And then last but not least, we have Bloom Where You Are Planted by Fat Quarter Shop. Now there is a stitch along that I believe started at the beginning of April for this. So yeah, better late than never, I guess. Pattern includes individual charts and the honeycomb border chart. So that's what you see down around here, the yellow. My question for you for this one, if you're interested in this one, is, see that boot? Do you wear rain boots? There's an interesting question, huh? You're like, oh, Jan, that's so stupid. It's hard to come up with these things every time. I'm not as clever as some people out there. All right. Do you wear rain boots? I don't. No, I don't know that I've ever owned a rain boot, even when I was a kid. So, yeah. Do you wear rain boots? Galoshes? What do they call it in England? Can't remember. Anyway, that is all for the stitching portion this week. Except, I almost forgot, didn't I? All right, I'm just going to randomly pull one out of here. Today and every day, we are celebrating and honoring your beautiful, joy-filled heart. You are a gift to this world. Happy birthday. Isn't that sweet? How awesome is that? Do you feel like you have a joy-filled heart? Somebody mentioned to me, I think Teal, it was you, wasn't it? How you could just see how different my demeanor is since we moved here. And while I certainly don't always have a joy-filled heart, my heart is much more joy-filled since moving here than it was before. So happy to be here. So happy to be in a house. So happy to be designing and hooking up with beautiful people in this community. Just every day is a gift, and I am enjoying everyone as much as I can. And I hope you are too, and I hope you can think about it that way. If there are more hard days for you than there are easy days, and I know many of you do have harder days. So I think that's all for the stitching part. I am now going to pull out my planner and talk to you about what I have going in there. Thank you to those who are going to head out now. I appreciate you. I appreciate you spending time with me. And I will talk to you soon. Love you guys. Bye-bye. So what I thought, I have had several of you request that I do a plan with me. Here comes Nina back. And I just haven't, most of the times when I sit down to put my planner together, I just need to get it done. And so I'm not taking the time I need to set up the video and all of that. Kitty in the closet. Nina. Just never know what she's going to get into. She has a tendency to poop on the rug when she's upset with us. Yeah. So when she goes back into my closet somewhere, I'm always a little, We had her to the vet on Monday. First time here. Totally healthy 15-year-old kitty. Still just as curious as ever, sniffing around at things. Anyways, planner. So I haven't yet taken the time to actually do a plan with me and kind of show you my steps. But what I thought I would do with this one, as far as I can remember, is kind of step you through how I did put it together. I know several of you have mentioned that some of the tips that I'm giving are helpful. So I wanted, again, a fairly easy spread, something that I didn't have to think about a whole lot. And one of the things that had been in the back of my mind for a while were these flowers and how they coordinated with the background paper that looks like the coffee stained. If you remember, I got a paper pad that was 8 by 6, so it fits on the page perfectly, and it had these blues, these ink stains that look like coffee cup stains and kind of splashes in the blues. I have a Happy Planner, actually. Okay, I decided to go ahead and get the sticker things that I was talking about so I could actually show you. So I had in my mind, if you remember, I got this paper book, and this is the one that is 6 by 8. And one of the papers in here that caught my eye, and there's duplicates of these, so there's like 3 of each design in here. So I can show you, if I can flip to it, which one I used. So it is this one. So there were 3 of these. I used 2 of them in the book. So when I saw that, I had already gotten this sticker book from Live Love Posh. And I thought that these stickers would coordinate beautifully with that background. And then I also got this Happy Planner sticker book that is called Indigo, that has all kinds of different blues for blocks and sayings and inspirational quotes and that kind of stuff. So these are the 3 books that I used to put this layout together. So I started with that background paper. And like I said the last time, I always think bigger to smaller when I'm adding things. I start with the background paper, and one of the easy things for me to add is the dates. I didn't change the numbers, but I did white out the words and put kind of a groovier, handwritten looked look sticker for the days of the week. Then I like to have over here, so the paper pretty much covered up everything on the page. I like to have over here a quote and then a room for writing, so I added that in. And then I added the big flowers in the corners, down at the bottom, on the side over here, to start my decorating. After I got the flowers in, I added more quotes. So that one, there's a couple to-do list things and just more journaling blocks. And my goal when I'm doing this is to kind of have a balance of white space to write in, with the quotes, with the decoration. Once I get the bigger quotes in, then I start filling in with some of the smaller flower pieces, that one, the spray. Where I see empty places, that's where I start filling in with that type of thing. And then I'll start putting in even smaller pieces like that little remember thing. It's good to group stuff together. So I have a couple journaling blocks here, I have a flower, and I have a little remember thing there, or important or something. As I finished this, as I was finishing it up, it struck me that in that indigo book, there were circular journaling blocks. So instead of just having those empty, and I could have written on the page, you know, on the paper itself, I decided to put a circle on each of those, the journaling blocks, in circular form. So, and then here and there I am writing on the paper, you know, where I need to. Yeah, I'm, this might look a little busy, but when I think it looks, and this might sound kind of counterintuitive, I almost think it looks busier without the black writing before the pen, as they call it, because it's just, there's some blank white spaces, but there's also a lot of other things going on that you can't really focus on things too well. But I find that once I start writing in it, that helps to bring the focus into little places, and everything else is decoration. I hope that helps. Yeah, I think that's about all I had to say for that. Every week, I'm just sitting down thinking, number one, how much time do I want to spend? And if I don't have a lot, I try and use something that's already coordinated. And also, what's the feel I have for the week? Like next week, I do my planning sessions on Sunday. Next week, since the landscaper is coming, since on Sunday I'll be planting flowers, since I'm hoping it's going to warm up a little bit, I think we might make it up into the 60s for the most part next week. I think I'm going to be feeling flowery, even more flowery than usual. So look for a very floral spread next week. All right, I think that's all I have. I hope you found that useful. Again, I appreciate you being here, and I'm kind of happy to know that I can offer what little knowledge I have, and that there are people interested in my little attempts at planning here. I know I'm not nearly as talented as many of the people out there, but I'm happy to offer whatever tips I can. So I appreciate the fact that there are some of you interested. All right, so that is all for today. I will close this out by saying I love you guys. I do appreciate you being here, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.